The rain hammered against the pavement as Officer Derek Kane pulled his patrol car behind a sleek black Mercedes outside Rosie's coffee house. His eyes narrowed. A black man in jeans and a hoodie sat behind the wheel, checking his phone. Derek stepped out, hand resting on his belt. "This doesn't add up," he muttered. His boots splashed through puddles as he approached the driver's side window, knocking hard against the glass with his knuckles. Marcus Webb looked up, startled. He rolled down the window halfway, raindrops spattering against his arm. "Good evening, officer. Is there a problem?" "License and registration." "No." Derek's voice carried that edge, that tone Marcus had heard too many times in his 42 years. Marcus reached slowly toward the glove compartment. "I'm just getting my documents. Everything's in order. Keep your hands where I can see them." Derek's voice rose sharply. "Step out of the vehicle." Marcus took a breath, steady and measured. "Officer, I haven't done anything wrong. I own this car. I can show you the registration." I said get out. Derek yanked the door open. "Whose car is this really? You steal it. Looks pretty expensive for someone like you." The words hit like stones. Marcus stepped out slowly, hands visible, palms open. "Someone like me? What exactly does that mean?" A small crowd gathered near the coffee shop entrance. Phones came out, cameras pointed. Derek noticed but didn't care. He'd done this dance 100 times before. Nobody ever did anything about it. "Don't get smart with me." Derek grabbed Marcus's arm, spinning him toward the car. "Put your hands on the hood." Marcus complied, his jaw tight. "This is unnecessary. Check my identification. Call it in. You'll see everything's legitimate." Derek patted him down roughly, then snatched the wallet from Marcus's back pocket. He flipped it open, glanced at the license. "Marcus Webb. This address real? Or is this a fake ID too?" "It's real. Everything is real. You're making a mistake. The only mistake here is you thinking you can drive around in a car like this without questions." Derek's face flushed red. "I know your type. Probably bought this with drug money." Marcus turned his head slightly. "My type? I'm a law-abiding citizen. I've never committed a crime in my life." "Sure you haven't." Derek shoved him harder against the hood. "That's what they all say." A woman's voice called out from the crowd. "Hey! He's not doing anything wrong. Leave him alone." Derek whipped around. "Mind your business. This is police work." Marcus spoke calmly, though his heart pounded. "Officer Kane, your badge number is 743. I'm remembering that. I'm also remembering every word you said tonight." Something in Marcus's tone made Derek pause, but only for a second. Rage took over. "You threatening me? You threatening a police officer?" "I'm stating facts. That's all." Derek's fist came fast, connecting with Marcus's jaw. The crack echoed across the wet street. Marcus stumbled backward, catching himself against the car. Blood trickled from his lip. The crowd gasped. Phones captured everything, every angle, every moment. "You just assaulted me," Marcus said quietly, touching his mouth. "Without provocation. Without cause. In front of witnesses." Derek grabbed his handcuffs. "You're under arrest for resisting arrest and threatening an officer." "I did neither of those things." Marcus didn't resist as Derek wrenched his arms behind his back, metal cuffs biting into his wrists. "But you made your choice. Now you live with the consequences." 2 more patrol cars arrived, lights flashing blue and red against the rain-soaked street. Officers jumped out. One of them, Officer Lisa Chen, looked from Derek to Marcus, her expression uncertain. "What's going on here?" she asked. "Park stole this Mercedes. Got aggressive when I confronted him." Derek pushed Marcus toward Chen's patrol car. "I'm taking him in." Marcus met Chen's eyes. Check the registration. Call my information in. You see this officer has made a serious error. Chen glanced at Derek, then at the crowd still filming. Something felt wrong. Derek, maybe we should verify everything first. I don't need a rookie telling me how to do my job. Derek opened the back door of his cruiser, shoving Marcus inside. I've got this handled. At the precinct, fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as Derek marched Marcus through the booking area. Other officers looked up from their desks, conversations stopping mid-sentence. Sergeant Tom Bradley approached. Derek, what VE you got? Grand theft auto, resisting arrest, threatening an officer. Derek grinned, adrenaline still pumping. Caught him red-handed in a Mercedes he definitely didn't own. Marcus sat quietly in the holding area, his face swelling where Derek had hit him. He said nothing, just watched. Waited. Captain Sofia Rodriguez emerged from her office, coffee cup in hand. She glanced toward the holding area and froze. The cup slipped from her fingers, shattering across the floor. Brown liquid spread in all directions. Oh no! Oh no, no, no! Her voice came out strangled. Derek! My office! Right now! Derek swaggered over, confident. Captain, I know the guy looks clean-cut, but trust me, something's off about him. Rodriguez grabbed Derek's arm, pulling him inside her office and slamming the door. Through the glass window, other officers watched her face turn bright red as she spoke rapidly, hands gesturing wildly. Derek's expression changed. Confident swagger melted into confusion, then shock, then pure horror. His face drained of all color. The office door burst open. Rodriguez strode directly to Marcus. Sir, I am so sorry. This is unacceptable. We're releasing you immediately. Is there anything you need? Medical attention? Anything at all? Marcus stood slowly, towering over her with quiet dignity. Remove these handcuffs. Then we'll talk. Rodriguez fumbled with her keys, hands shaking as she unlocked the cuffs. Red marks circled Marcus's wrists. Derek stood frozen in the office doorway, watching his career disintegrate. Someone want to tell me what's happening? Bradley asked. Rodriguez turned to face the entire room. Everyone, this is Marcus Webb. He's our new police chief. He starts tomorrow. Officially. An officer Kane just assaulted him, falsely arrested him, and accused him of grand theft auto. Silence crashed through the precinct like a bomb. Jaws dropped. Eyes went wide. Derek swayed on his feet. Marcus rubbed his wrists, his gaze moving across every face in the room. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. sharp. Every officer reports to the main briefing room. No exceptions. He walked toward the exit, pausing next to Derek. Badge and gun. Captain Rodriguez's desk. Tonight. Then he was gone, the door closing softly behind him. The next morning arrived cold and clear. Officers filed into the briefing room, whispers bouncing off walls. Derek sat in the back row, ashen-faced, badge and weapon already surrendered. At exactly 9 a.m., Marcus entered. He wore his dress uniform now, 3 stars gleaming on his collar, every ribbon and commendation perfectly placed. The bruise on his jaw stood out dark purple against his skin. He walked to the podium without a word, letting silence settle heavy and thick. Yesterday, I was assaulted by one of your own, Marcus began, his voice carrying to every corner. Not because I broke the law. Not because I was dangerous. But because Officer Kane made assumptions based on the color of my skin. He decided who I was before I spoke a single word. He decided I didn't belong in my own car. He decided I was a criminal. And when I dared to stand up for myself, when I dared to remind him that I had rights, he used his fist to silence me. Officers shifted uncomfortably. Some stared at their laps. Others looked directly at Marcus, shame evident in their eyes. This department has a choice to make, Marcus continued. We can continue down the path we've been on, where badges become weapons against the communities we're sworn to protect. Where power corrupts instead of serves. Where people like me can't drive through their own neighborhoods without fear. Or we can change. Real change. Hard change. The kind that makes you look in the mirror and question everything you thought you knew about this job. He paused, letting his words sink in. Officer Kane is suspended indefinitely pending a full investigation. The district attorney's office will review the assault charges. The false arrest. All of it. And here's what else is going to happen. Every officer in this room will undergo mandatory retraining on implicit bias, de-escalation tactics, and community policing. We're implementing body cameras department-wide, no exceptions. We're creating a civilian oversight board with real power, not just rubber stamps. And we're opening up a confidential hotline for anyone, officer or civilian, who has witnessed misconduct and wants to report it without fear of retaliation. Movement in the back. 3 officers stood up. Then 2 more. They walked to the front, standing near Marcus. Officer Chen spoke first. Chief Webb, I've seen Derek do things like this before. Not this bad, but close. I stayed quiet because I was scared. I'm not staying quiet anymore. Another officer, Jackson Miller, nodded. I've got complaints from my patrol area that I buried. People saying they were harassed, profiled. I thought I was protecting the brotherhood. But I was just protecting bullies. One by one, officers came forward. Stories poured out. Years of covered-up misconduct, racist jokes in locker rooms, complaints ignored, victims dismissed. The brotherhood cracking open, exposing rot underneath. Derek sat motionless, watching his world collapse. Marcus listened to every story, making notes, nodding. When the last officer finished, he looked out across the room. This is where it starts. Today. Right now. We don't become perfect overnight. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to stumble. But we're going to do it honestly, transparently, and with accountability. That's my promise to this department and to this city. 6 weeks later, Marcus stood in the community center in the Riverside neighborhood, the same neighborhood where he'd grown up. Folding chairs filled with residents, activists, religious leaders. Faces that had learned not to trust police, not to hope for change. Pastor Raymond Thompson spoke first. Chief Webb, we've heard promises before. Politicians show up, say nice things, take photos, then disappear. Why should we believe you're different? Marcus didn't flinch. Because I lived your experience. Because I know what it's like to be seen as a threat just for existing. Because 3 months ago, one of my own officers punched me in the face and arrested me for the crime of driving while black. That video went viral. You all seen it. The difference between me and so many others. I had the power to fight back. I had the platform to demand change. Most of you don't have that. So I'm using mine. Not just for me. For all of us. An elderly woman named Dorothy Hayes raised her hand. My grandson was stopped 5 times last year. 5 times. He's 17. Honor student. Works at the grocery store after school. They treated him like a criminal every single time. Marcus wrote down her grandson's name. That ends now. We've already disciplined 4 officers for unnecessary stops in this neighborhood. We revised our stop and frisk policies. We've created that civilian oversight board I mentioned. Real people from real neighborhoods, with real power to investigate complaints. And Mrs. Hayes, I want to meet your grandson. I want to hear his story directly. The meeting lasted 3 hours. Questions, anger, hope, skepticism, all mixing together. But something shifted. Not trust, not yet. But maybe the beginning of possibility. Outside, Marcus stood in the parking lot as families filed past. A young boy, maybe 8 years old, tucked his mother's sleeve and pointed at Marcus. "Mommy, is that the police chief? The one from the video?" The mother hesitated, then nodded. The boy walked over shyly. "Mr. Chief, my daddy says you're going to make the police better. Is that true?" Marcus knelt down. Eye level with the boy. "I'm going to try. But I need your help." "My help? I'm just a kid." "You're not just anything. You're the future. And when you grow up, I want you to remember that being strong doesn't mean using your fists. It means using your voice. Using your brain. Standing up for what's right even when it's hard. Can you remember that?" The boy nodded solemnly. "I can remember." As they walked away, Marcus stood and looked back at the community center. Through the windows, he could see people still talking, still engaged. The video of his assault had sparked something nationwide. Protests. Demands for police reform. Other departments reaching out, asking for advice. Change spreading like ripples in water. His phone buzzed. A text from Rodriguez. 3 more officers came forward with complaints. And Derek's trial date is set. The DA's going forward with all charges. Marcus tapped back. Good. Justice doesn't mean revenge. It means accountability. He drove through the city as evening settled in, streetlights flickering on one by one. Past the coffee shop where everything changed. Past neighborhoods he now patrolled as chief instead of suspect. Past faces that still watched police cars with fear, but maybe, just maybe, with a tiny spark of hope too, the work wasn't finished. It might never be finished. Racism didn't disappear because one cop faced consequences. Systems didn't transform because one man wore stars on his collar. But every journey started somewhere. Every movement began with a single step. Every change grew from a seed of courage. Marcus Webb had been that seed. Now it was time to grow a forest. He pulled into his driveway, touching the bruise on his jaw. It had faded now, yellow-green instead of purple, but he could still feel it. A reminder. A promise. A badge of honor earned not through violence, but through dignity in the face of it. Tomorrow, he'd wake up and do it all again. Face resistance. Push boundaries. Demand better. Build bridges. Hold people accountable, but tonight, he allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. Derek Kane sat in jail awaiting trial. The department was transforming. The community was engaging. And somewhere out there, a little boy would remember that strength came from character, not force. That was justice. Imperfect, incomplete, but undeniably real, and for tonight, that was enough.